Good afternoon, YouTube. Eric Weaver here, Sea Smoke Pipes. Today I am going to talk about pipe books. I have a collection of pipe books, pipe magazines, newsletters, catalogs, things like that. Reference material, basically textbooks on pipes. For me as a pipe maker, they're invaluable. So anyway, that's the main focus of this video. I'm not sure how long it's going to be, but we're just going to go over the books I have and talk about them a little bit. But the first thing I want to talk about are these right here. Can you see that? These are book plates. As you can see, this has a man smoking a pipe in a chair, and then it has my name printed on it. I recently got these from a guy on Instagram. His name is Brendan Cox. I think his handle is Brendan in Rhode Island on Instagram, something like that. Anyway, not too expensive and very cool. He made all this artwork himself and then prints them off. So anyway, I saw that Adam at Northern Fires Pipes picked up some of these a while back, and I thought they're cool. And I have all these pipe books, and what better than a nice book plate to put in them. So that is my little activity I'm going to be doing today. I'll put the stickers in after I'm done with the video. So the first book I'm going to talk about is one that's new to me. I got it for Christmas from my wife, and this is an excellent book. It's a little dusty right now. Scandinavian Pipe Makers by Jan Andersen. This one I've already put my book plate in. This goes over all kinds of pipe makers from Denmark, of course, Sweden, a couple from Norway. It features really high quality glossy pictures, a lot of pictures. There's a number of names in here you'll probably recognize, and a lot that you have probably never even heard of before. So this is an awesome book. I'm really happy to get this one. I've been wanting to buy it for quite a while, and I just never got around to it. But my wife hooked me up this Christmas. So very thankful for that. Scandinavian Pipe Makers by Jan Andersen, with an introduction by Rick Newcomb. This is put out now by Briar Book Press. Okay, so that is the most recent book. Another recent book that I finally picked up a copy of is Confessions of a Pipe Man by Gary Schreier. This is a smaller book. This is more of kind of a humor based book. It's not bad. So far it's not my favorite, but it is still worth reading. Confessions of a Pipe Man, an irreverent guide for today's pipe smoking man, 2nd edition, with a foreword by Marty Pulvers. Anyway, it's a pretty cool book. It just talks about all kinds of things about pipe etiquette. Mostly it's all his opinions. A lot of them are pretty good. Some stuff on tobacco. Not a bad read. So, Confessions of a Pipe Man by Gary Schreier. Okay, now we're going to get into some books I've had for a while. This book right here, The Ultimate Pipe Book by Richard Carlton Hacker. This is the first book I ever came across when I started pipe smoking. My cousin had a copy of this, and I soon thereafter found some books at a used bookstore, and this was one of them. Some really good pictures. These ones are in black and white in this edition anyway. This book covers almost anything you want to know about the basic shapes of pipes, how to smoke a pipe, a lot of different factory, company, brand name, history, different collectible pipes, historic pipe smokers, all kinds of stuff. It's an excellent book, I think. It's a little bit older now, so it's kind of dated, but a really good overview of pipe smoking and pipe collecting in general. The Ultimate Pipe Book by Richard Carlton Hacker. Great book. I think everyone should have it. All right, then we're going to get into a couple other Richard Carlton Hacker books. This one right here, Rare Smoke, The Ultimate Guide to Pipe Collecting. This one says volume 1, but I don't think he ever came out with a volume 2. This book is really good. This is pretty much all about a bunch of histories of different pipe makers and pipe factories. There's a huge thing in here on K-Woodies, really in-depth chapter on Dunhill pipes and how to date them. Stuff on like Costello's, Peterson, all the big brands and even some of the smaller ones. It's kind of like a little bit of a encyclopedia, if you will. Excellent book. I really like this one a lot. It's very well written and very informative. Worth picking up if you can find a copy of this one. Rare Smoke by Richard Carlton Hacker. Okay, another book by Richard Carlton Hacker is Pipe Smoking, a 21st Century Guide. This one's a little bit smaller. You can usually find these used relatively cheap. And this book is good, but basically he kind of just rehashes what he talked about in his first Ultimate Pipe book and updates a few things. There's some different pictures, a couple more color pictures. There is some more information, but a lot of it is kind of a rehashing of what is in the Ultimate Pipe book. One thing that is different about this book, though, is in the last, you can't really see, the last chapter, or one of the last chapters, it has a list of all kinds of different tobacco blends, and he basically reviews them and rates them. And that's kind of cool because you can kind of get an idea of what some of these blends are. A number of them are still available, some of them aren't. He also has some different publications and clubs listed in the back. Anyway, another cool book. Pipe Smoking, a 21st Century Guide. Let's see what else we got in here. A Pipe Smoker's Guide by Charles Graves. This book I've had for quite a long time. A lot of general information on pipe smoking history, some pictures of a few pipes, pipe shapes, just kind of an overview. And they have stuff that talks about the Falcon pipe. I think that perhaps this guy Charles Graves was somehow connected to Falcon pipes. I'm not really sure. But anyway, if you can find a copy of this, it's from 1969. And you know, if you can pick it up for a couple bucks, it's a fun read. Nothing special, but still a cool little book. All right. I'll get into a couple other older books here. Carl Weber's The Pleasures of Pipe Smoking. This is a good book. It's older. Again, just another thing, general overview about pipes. Here's a description of all of pipe shapes. Of course, some of them they've actually changed the names over the years. Like, you know, they use older names like topper for a stack, four square, which is another name for a panel if you don't know that. Anyway, there's a lot of different stuff. Bull moose, which is essentially a Rhodesian. But anyway, this is a good book. I remember really liking it. I should reread it. I also really like old Weber brand pipes. Certain ones, not all of them, but the older ones I like quite a bit. So, really cool. Carl Weber, The Pleasures of Pipe Smoking. I'd recommend that book. Then we have, again by Carl Weber, Weber's Guide to Pipes and Pipe Smoking. And this is another general overview. Here he's talking about proper reaming of cakes, things that can lead to burnout. He talks about different tobaccos, Maryland tobacco, Latakia tobacco, things like that. Perique, the different parts of the plant that are harvested. Another shape chart. Talks about some history of pipes. Here's some Chinese water pipes and some Nargile hookahs, the calabash pipe. Another pretty good little book. Not very expensive when you can find it. This is going to be a bit of a longer video. In case you've made it this far, let's keep on cruising. I'll try to speed it up a little. Okay, another cool book. I bought this, I don't know, 2007, 2006. When did this come out? Oh, it came out in 2000, so I must have bought it, I don't know when, early 2000s. The Pipe Companion, A Connoisseur's Guide by David Wright. This is kind of a small little book, sort of a mini coffee table book, I'd call it. And it's pretty cool. It has a little history of pipe making, and then it has this spot where it lists different pipe manufacturers and pipe carvers, and it has pictures of their pipes and just a really, you know, like a little half page to full page description of their work and their history. And it does a good job. Gives you kind of a snippet from across the world, you know, all over the world. And it's a good book if you can find it for a good price. My only critique on that book is that it should be bigger and more in-depth, but for what it is, it's pretty good. Alright, now we'll get into these ones. In Search of Pipe Dreams by Rick Newcomb. Excellent book. Really like this. Rick Newcomb talks basically all about the history of his own personal pipe collecting and traveling to various places in the world. High grade Danish pipes are a real focus. Also, there's a focus on some really cool American-made pipes and restoration specialists. This one has black and white pictures, but I do believe that there is an edition with better color pictures. Well worth the read. I think this is a reprint of the original edition, but really good book. Rick Newcomb, In Search of Pipe Dreams. As you can see, it's about an inch deep. Cool one. Then his second book, Still Searching for Pipe Dreams. This is basically more of the same. He talks more and more about his experiences in pipe smoking, his opinions on it, things like that. It's another good book, definitely worth reading. Both of those books are quite good in my opinion. Alright, then we got the real classic, Alfred Dunhill, The Pipe Book. This book is basically a history of pipes in the world. It talks about pipes from all over the world, different styles, things like that. It's not a real history of Dunhill pipes at all. It's basically just an overview about pipes in general and with a historical context. And it's by Alfred Dunhill, foreword by Richard Dunhill. Everyone should read it. Alright. Here we go. Bo Nord, Pipe Maker. By another one by Jan Andersen. Excellent book, put out by Briar Book Press. Wonderful, wonderful pictures about the history of Bo Nord. All his different shapes. Excellent book. I can't recommend this enough, especially if you're interested in Danish pipes, but also if you're into pipe making. It's a really good resource to have just to absorb it all. A similar book, Tom Eltang, It's Good to Be a Pipe Maker. This is a good book, very similar to that in that it has a general overview of the pipe maker, Tom Eltang. A lot of excellent photos. Pretty good. My only critique on this is that it should be bigger. I think they could have put even more material and pictures in this book, but it's pretty good. pretty neat stuff. So, a little bit of a skinnier book, but hardcover, cool one. Here's a cool book, A Complete Guide to Antique Pipes by Benjamin Rappaport. If you don't know who Benjamin Rappaport is, you better look him up, because this guy knows a lot about antique pipes. Antique meerschaums, clay pipes, wood pipes from around the world, gourd pipes. Some cool briars in here. It's all pretty much black and white, but very, very informative stuff here. It's a good book. Oh, and I also have a clipping of his that I found in a cigar magazine about pipes, which I didn't want the cigar magazine, but I did keep the article on pipes. Benjamin Rappaport, A Complete Guide to Collecting Antique Pipes. There we go. The Book of Pipes and Tobaccos by Carl Ewa Jr. Now, Carl Ewa, or Ewa, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, from what I understand, was the founder of McClelland Tobacco. And he was the first husband of, I'm forgetting her name, but you know, Mike McNeil and Mary, right? Mary McNeil, that of McClelland fame. So this was her first husband, and he wrote this book back in the 70s. It's a great book, all about history of pipes, pipe shapes. He goes into some pretty good detail about different types of tobaccos, cuts, origins, varietals. Pretty cool book. Definitely worth checking that one out. The Book of Pipes and Tobacco. Okay. Now here we go with another Richard Carlton Hacker book. This is the just another edition of the Ultimate Pipe book. But I believe this one was released in the United Kingdom. Basically, it's the same book, except it's a larger format, and there are additional pictures and color photos in this one. Good book. Okay, and then we have Pipe, The Art and Lore of a Great Tradition by Robin Crowley, or Kroll. I don't remember much about this book. It's kind of a coffee table book, all about pipes. Pipes, pipes, pipes. This book's okay. I don't really remember anything in here that is like that original, though. You can pretty much find this information in any of these other books. So I guess I can't recommend that one that much. It's an okay book. Alright, now we're getting into probably the two biggest and best, well, not the best, but two of the biggest books I have. Pipes, Artisans, and Trademarks by Jose Manuel Lopez. This is like an encyclopedia of almost every known pipe maker at that time around the world. And some of you may know who made that pipe. He just passed away. Rolando Nagoita. I can't pronounce his name very well. But this book has lots of pictures. It lists everybody basically like an encyclopedia, and it talks about their work, how they got their beginnings, and it usually shows a picture if available. Good book. Definitely like a reference book. I'm sure if he were to redo one nowadays, it would be twice as thick. But excellent book. Check it out. Okay, then we get into the Pipe. I've done a review of this book quite a while back. The Pipe, A Functional Work of Art. This is an awesome book. It's big. There's pipe makers, mostly from Scandinavia. Great pictures. Really a treat to look through, and very well written. Artisan pipes and factory pipes. Cool book. And this has actually come down in price quite a bit in the last year since it since it was first put out. All right, so that's it for the books that I have. Then I'm going to get into a real quick overview of some magazines. I'm not going to show you every magazine I have, but basically that little cabinet there is all full of Pipes and Tobacco magazine and other variety of things. So if you made it this far, just hang with me, it'll be a few more minutes. First off, we have Pipes and Tobacco's magazine. This stopped being produced about 2 years ago, sadly. This is an excellent magazine with wonderful pictures, very well written articles, and a wealth of information, really great advertisements. There's Boswell. Just really cool stuff. If you can get your hands on some of these at a good price, snap them up, because a wealth of knowledge in these magazines. I have the complete set. Okay, a couple other things are being put out. The Pipe Collector by the North American Society of Pipe Collectors. This is a newsletter. This is still in publication. It's about $21 to join for a year. You get a newsletter every 2 months, and this is great. It's you definitely should be a member. Also, you can get some discounts if you're a member as well to certain retailers. So that's still available, and go show them some support and subscribe. Okay. Then we have the Pipe Smokers Ephemeris. Okay, these went out of production in 2005. In fact, I think this is the last edition, which I had a few used copies, and I became a member, and my name was published in this very last edition, I believe. So I barely made it in, but yeah, there I am, listed under new members. Anyway, this was put out by Tom Dunn for many years. I have maybe 15, 16 of these, and this was a really cool newsletter. Basically, people just wrote in and talked about their thoughts on pipes, anything pipe related. It was kind of like a forum before forums were a thing. Tons of information, and it was just so cool. All this is reader submitted art. Okay, this was a really special thing. Tom Dunn was a special guy, and he was super nice. He sent me a bunch of back issues and some decals and stuff. Very collectible, really cool. I wish I had more of them, but they're kind of pricey to get a hold of. The Pipe Smokers Ephemeris. All right, got a couple copies of this. Pipe Friendly. This is kind of a similar concept as the Pipe Smokers Ephemeris. People were writing in. It had people that would go around and write articles and submit them. This was put out by J. Galloway Company out of California. There's M. Gluckler as a contributor in this one, Chicago 2001. So all kinds of collectors would submit articles to this little publication, and I have a handful of them. I have a few more in there. They're good, not the greatest as far as pictures go, but still pretty cool. And then another thing that you can kind of keep an eye out is old catalogs, right? So this is kind of a fun old catalog from Dan Pipe 2000, Der Catalog. And this is just cool because it shows all these pipes and the prices that they were being sold for at the time. These are in Deutschmarks. And these are just fun to look at. They're just fun to look at. So, all right. Sorry for such a long-winded one, but these are my pipe books. I'm constantly adding more. There's a lot to add out there if you really look. But yeah, so that's that. And like I said, if you're interested in some of these book plates, look up Brendan Cox on Instagram. I think it's Brendan in Rhode Island. But really cool little stickers for your books. All right, guys. Well, happy smokes. We'll check you next time.